It gives me great pleasure to welcome Ambassador of the Republic of Georgia, Mr. George Zurabashvili, to discuss the occupation of regions of Georgia and the EU accession process. You're very welcome, Ambassador, and I'd like to record on my own behalf and on behalf of the committee, this is the first time that you have attended in your capacity as Ambassador. I know on previous occasions which we met, indeed on previous occasions that you were present at this committee. It was in your capacity as senior official or charge d'affaires. But today you come fully fledged as Ambassador of the Republic of Georgia, and in that regard you're most welcome. And I call on you to make your opening statement to us. Thank you.
Dear Chairman Charles Flanagan, distinguished members of the Joint Committee on Foreign Relations and Defence, TDs and Senators, first of all, dear Chairman, may I thank you for your incredible words and generous introduction. It's a great honour and privilege to be invited to this historic building, the Leinster House, by the respected committee to represent my country and to brief you on the challenges Georgia has, the ongoing Russian occupation, and also to share the progress Georgia has been achieving towards further European Union integration, as well as to mark out the excellent bilateral relations between our countries. In speaking here, I am conscious that this is also the first opportunity I have had to address you since the respected committee has been selected. Moreover, this island has been elected as a non-permanent member of the Security Council of the United Nations, that I sincerely would like to congratulate you with. Georgia's stated aspirations to the European and Euro-Atlantic integration, as well as its rigid democratic and economic growth, have further solidified Russia's aggression against sovereign neighbor, with the main intention to keep Georgia under its direct political influence and domination. It's important to emphasize that the conflict in Abkhazia and Tskhinvali regions of Georgia is not an internal rebellion or a civil war, but coordinated attack fomented, planned, and carried out by the Russian Federation. Russia's military forces and units and Russian citizens directly participate in the military operations using Russian military equipment. The plans to storm and occupy Georgia's regions were drawn up and approved in Moscow. Faced with well-trained and well-equipped military units of Russia, Georgia lost de facto control over Abkhazia and Tskhinvali regions. As a result of Russian military aggression, illegal proxy regimes were created by Russia in both Abkhazia and Tskhinvali regions of Georgia. Throughout almost 30 years of the Russia-Georgia conflict, from 1991 to the current days, the ethnic Georgian population was subject to atrocities, including mass murder, torture, rape, and pillage. The Georgian nation has suffered through 3 massive waves of ethnic cleansing in both Abkhazia and Tskhinvali regions of Georgia that nowadays has resulted in 500,000 IDPs and refugees that the Russian Federation is responsible for. During August 2008 war, Russia conducted a large-scale military attack against sovereign country on land, at sea, by air, and via cyberspace. As a result, Russia has additionally occupied 125 villages and has burned out, destroyed, and flattened down houses of 35,000 Georgians in order to preclude any return of the expelled population, trying to change the trace of history, pretending Georgians never lived here. Those few who have escaped atrocities and have remained in Tskhinvali and Abkhazia regions are constant subject to massive human rights violations. In April 2011, the Russian occupation forces have started the installation of barbed wire fences and other artificial obstacles along the occupation line in Abkhazia and Tskhinvali regions of Georgia. This process of borderization has further intensified and actively continues nowadays. The length of the barbed wire fences barriers along the occupation line in occupied Abkhazia region exceeds 49 kilometers, and in Tskhinvali region, 52 kilometers. As a result, the local population is cut off the agricultural and grazing lands, potable and irrigation water systems, churches and cemeteries. Residing on different sides of the occupation line, over 800 families are eliminated to contact each other. Those few ethnic Georgians who are left beyond the occupation line are deprived of fundamental human rights, including free movement, civil rights, property rights, education rights, speaking in native Georgian language, health services, and so on. The native Georgians are forced to take Russian passports and register as foreigners. They are forced to change Georgian names and surnames. Almost all original Georgian toponymical names of cities, villages, and streets are also changed. We witness the frequent cases of illegal kidnapping, detaining, torture, and murder of those who live along the occupation line. The brutality of such actions is beyond human nature. Russian occupation forces continuously move the occupation line deeper into the country, seizing thousands of acres of Georgian lands, advancing closer to the vitally important East-West highway, grabbing territories where crucially important pipelines carry oil and gas to the EU markets. The creeping occupation brings fear to the local population, destruction to the economy, and undermines security. Currently, 20% of the Georgian territory is occupied by the Russians. The Russian Federation refuses to fulfill its obligations taken by 2008 ceasefire agreement that has been mediated by the European Union under the French presidency. The six-point agreement envisages the non-use of force that Georgia has signed unilaterally as Russia declines to meet these obligations. Georgia calls for withdrawal of the Russian troops from our territories as stated in the same agreement. Instead, the Russia has built two illegal military bases in both occupied regions where over 10,000 Russian military and security personnel are stationed. In addition, Russia maintains 2,600 KGB or FSB agents and border guards to control the occupation line and adjacent territories. The Russian illegal military bases are well equipped with modern military hardware, including tanks, artillery, military drones, ballistic missiles, with capability of wearing conventional and nuclear warheads. The Navy of Russia's Black Sea Fleet is in a constant movement in the upper section of Georgia's territorial waters, while military planes of Russia's Air Force constantly violate the airspace of both regions. The permanent military drills conducted by Russia on the occupied territories constitute further threat to the local and regional security. We do remember well, in November 2008, the visit of the current Taoiseach and at that time Foreign Minister Micheál Martin to Georgia. We remain immensely grateful to the Irish government and to the European Union for launching European Union monitoring mission, the non-military observers mission, with 8 Irish serving on the ground in Georgia, observing the occupation line. However, again, the Russian Federation breaches the ceasefire agreement mediated by the European Union and does not allow the EMM mission to cross the occupation line to carry out their mandate fully. Even worse, few months ago, the occupation regime has kidnapped and detained one of the international observers. Russia is continuing to violate the basic principles of international law by legitimization of forced territorial and demographic changes through occupation and ethnic cleansing, and has recognized the so-called independence of Abkhazia and Tkhinvali regions of Georgia. Furthermore, through political and financial pressure, Russia forces the others to do so, like Venezuela, Nicaragua, Nauru, and the most recently Bashar al-Assad regime of Syria did. Russian Federation continues the illegal process of de facto annexation of these regions through signing so-called treaties on alliance and integration with Abkhazia and Tkhinvali occupation regimes, thus fully incorporates Georgia's occupied regions into Russia's military, political, economic, social, and legal systems. A few weeks ago, the Russian president announced the creation of common socio-economic and defense space with the occupied Abkhazia region of Georgia. Through these destabilizing steps in an attempt to change the sovereign borders in Europe, the Russian Federation poses a serious threat to the peace and security of the European continent. It is of crucial necessity that the international community does not turn a blind eye to the alarming processes that the Russian Federation is carrying out through de facto annexation of Georgia's occupied territories and projecting power in the wider Black Sea region and the South Caucasus. Georgia remains firmly committed to the peaceful resolution of the conflict and de-escalation of tensions with Russia based on respect of Georgia's sovereignty and territorial integrity, and has undertaken the concrete steps by adopting a step for a better future, the peaceful integration program for both regions. The response of the European Union as a guarantor of the ceasefire agreement needs to be stronger, more decisive and resolute for defending the principles to respect the agreement, to call on Russia to implement its obligations under the EU-mediated 2008 ceasefire agreement, to seize its illegal steps towards a de facto annexation of Georgia's occupied territories, and withdraw its military forces from the Georgian soil. We appeal to our international partners and allies to demonstrate firm stance and make strong public statements and actions by the respective capitals, giving a due assessment to the mentioned illegal developments. The European Union and the international community should make Russia accountable to the international law, as in the modern world, the rule of law must govern and the justice must prevail. We're grateful to the Irish government and to the Oireachtas for supporting Georgia's territorial integrity, for co-sponsoring multiple UN resolutions on safe and dignified return of the IDPs to their true homes, and for the motions passed here in Oireachtas. As I anticipate to see other resolutions on Georgia's territorial integrity and the EU membership as a reiteration of your continuous support. Today here, in speaking to you, in speaking to Ireland as a friendly nation, as a full-fledged EU member state, and as a newly elected non-permanent member of the Security Council of the United Nations, I remain confident that the occupation Georgia faces and the crimes against humanity that Georgians suffer from the devastating policy of the Russian Federation will be strongly condemned, efficiently tackled and resolute, and the actions towards de-occupation will be executed. We are not living in the perfect world, but definitely we together can make it more human, more secure, and better protected. In parallel, the country is progressing well towards the European Union integration. A strong leadership of the government based on the nation's destiny towards European and Euro-Atlantic integration that is also firmly reflected in our Constitution achieves our success. The Georgian government has declared to submit the EU membership application by 2024. The European values are exactly what determines Georgia's European path. We Georgians share exactly the same values as you do, and our shared past is an integral part of our shared future. Therefore, we're confident that only by embracing political and economic interdependence, we both can progress and develop further. But dreams do not do unless you do. In frames of Eastern Partnership, we have signed an associate agreement with the European Union that opens a new chapter in Georgia's relations with the European Union. In this direction, our next goal is to join the single market, the single euro payment area, single telecommunication space, incorporated into educational domains, transportation network, and many, many more. Since the deep and comprehensive free trade agreement signed with the European Union, the EU has become the major trade partner of Georgia with a 12% increase in our trade balance sheet. Georgia invites the Irish businesses to enjoy the favorable location, a gateway from Europe to Asia, as we provide the free market access to over 2 billion population market through free trade with China, including Hong Kong, Central Asia, and all neighboring countries. Avoidance of a double taxation is another strong incentive for the Irish companies. The competitive advantage of Georgia is based on the rule of law, with a liberal market economy and well-regulated property rights, easy, friendly, corruption-free business environment, skilled and cheap labor force. The bold share of the phenomenal progress Georgia has achieved within the last decade comes along elementary tax code system designed by the government to ease the business conditions. We are number 7 by the World Bank to do business and number 5th, according to the Fraser Institute, in the economic freedom. Georgia possesses huge potential of green hydropower generation. We're studying closely the project to construct a novel Black Sea underwater electricity transmission line to supply the EU with the so needed green energy. In the world of digitalization, the internet cables stretching along the seabed are among top priorities, as currently the Black Sea has turned up as a sea of connectivity. Georgia contributes to the global security and participates in all counterterrorism operations led by the United States and in various EU peacekeeping missions. Though EU membership is not currently on the table, it is our goal that Georgia becomes a member of the European Union. We call the EU to further shape cooperation with Georgia as with a potential candidate country. Being defined as a potential candidate country will be a sign of a big support to Georgia's democracy and will certainly further consolidate Georgia's democratic and economic reforms. Nowadays, the increasing bilateral relations require reciprocating by the Irish government to open the Irish embassy in Tbilisi. That will definitely contribute to the Irish global footprint policy. Also will benefit Ireland as a non-permanent member of the UN Security Council and will open new horizons for Irish businesses and combined will contribute to our bilateral relations. Our friendship is strong and firm and the relations sincere, reliable and trusty. We commit the best we can to support Ireland wherever you need and whenever you say on the international arena in all multilateral formats of our competence. We remain more connected, more interactive, and more relevant than ever before. Thank you very much, and I'm open for any questions you might have.